This little boy is prone to suffer from earaches. Without warning, he can go from a happy state of play to a state of great anguish, crying violently while often holding his right ear. Now, in consultation with his pediatrician, his mother will administer a small dose of the homeopathic remedy belladonna at the onset of an acute episode. It has reduced the need for antibiotics and will quickly restore the child to a calm and pain-free state. This beloved family pet is susceptible to severe bouts of mange, an unsightly and painful skin disorder that greatly distresses both the animal and her owner. Now, in consultation with her veterinarian, the dog's owner will administer a small dose of the homeopathic remedy pulsatilla at the first sign of symptoms. It has reduced the need for steroid injections and will help to relieve the animal's symptoms and restore her to a healthy condition. What is this compelling method of treatment that is safe and effective for both small children and animals? And how does it work? Homeopathy is a 200-year-old system of medicine developed by the German physician Samuel Hahnemann. Homeopathy uses highly diluted, specially prepared doses of natural substances to trigger the body's self-healing mechanisms in a comprehensive manner. At the time of Samuel Hahnemann's birth in 1755, the Orthodox medical establishment saw this as a radical idea. For some, it remains so today.
People tend to call any type of natural therapy homeopathy. And when people were coming to my office, they were expecting that as a homeopath I was going to be prescribing high doses of vitamins or high doses of herbs or things like that. Whereas really with homeopathy we don't necessarily do that. Sometimes we do that, but really we're giving specific medicines in extremely small doses for the whole person. So it's a very non-toxic way of stimulating the body to heal itself.
A contemporary of Mozart, it is said that the young Hahnemann was a gifted student whose demanding father and own thirst for learning deprived him of a normal childhood. By age 12, he tutored Greek. By 20, Hahnemann left for Leipzig to study medicine and chemistry, paying his tuition by tutoring and translating. In 1791, Hahnemann qualified to practice medicine, but quickly became disillusioned with the accepted medical practices of the times.
They had this idea that illness was caused by too much or too little blood. Since there was not much you could do if there was too little, there must be something, most of the diseases was caused by too much, which meant that you opened a vein in the arm and bled the person. And like George Washington was bled to death by his doctors. I mean, they would bleed a pint, 2 pints, 3 pints from a person. They gave the person mercury compounds which caused their teeth to fall out and their jaws to rot. They applied mustard plasters. Medicine was terrible, and Hahnemann just became dissatisfied. And at some point, after losing enough patients and losing one of his children, he said, obviously, I can't help anybody. What I've been taught doesn't make any sense, and sometimes the people get better and sometimes they don't, and I can't approach it rationally. I'm going to stop. And he stopped.
Dissatisfied with the cruel side effects of so-called modern medicines, Hahnemann experimented with smaller and smaller doses of natural substances in order to minimize the possibility of side effects from his own remedies. He further developed a method of potentizing his dilutions by vigorously shaking the preparations at the end of the process. Hahnemann called this technique succussion. He concluded that the more a remedy was diluted in this manner, the more effectively it would cure, and without any side effects. To his orthodox colleagues, who routinely purged their patients with highly toxic substances, this was medical heresy. But in the course of his lifetime, Hahnemann would prove more than 100 remedies.
A very simple proving would be a cup of coffee. I mean, a real good, strong coffee to somebody who has never drunk coffee will make you very speedy. It gets you excited, it gets you up, it gets your mind going, your thoughts go through your head, you get all excited, you can't sleep. Think about a child after a party and the kid is wired and so excited and they can't sleep and they're jumping up and down. That's a child in a coffea state. That is a natural state of a person which mimics the state of coffea poisoning. And if you want the child to calm down, you give them a dose of homeopathic coffea, and it calms them down.
The origins of homeopathic medicine can be traced to ancient Greece and Hippocrates, the father of medicine. The term itself derives from two Greek words, homeos and pathos, meaning similar and suffering, words that present clues to understanding the dynamic at work in this system of medicine. Indeed, the basic theory of homeopathy is that like cures like. Hahnemann referred to this principle as the law of similars. He made this discovery by first experimenting with cinchona bark, from which the substance quinine is derived, used to treat malaria. While healthy, Hahnemann was able to ingest quantities of the bark sufficient to reproduce the symptoms commonly associated with the disease. He concluded that what could induce the symptoms in a healthy person could trigger a cure in one afflicted with the disease. Like cures like means that a patient's symptoms provide direct clues for what his body needs to rid itself of an illness. For example, if a person is suffering from hay fever allergies, a homeopath might give him a tiny dose of Allium cepa. This remedy is derived from the red onion, a pungent vegetable known to induce watery eyes and runny noses. By giving this patient a substance that will reproduce his symptoms, the homeopath seeks to trigger the body's natural ability to overcome illness and heal itself. Hahnemann devoted a lifetime to proving this theory by testing hundreds of additional substances to discover the symptoms they were able to produce in healthy volunteers, meticulously noting each result. Hahnemann referred to these experiments as provings, formulas for remedies that provide the basis for the classic homeopathic repertory in use today. His organon of medicine still defines the homeopathic philosophy and system of belief. Today, homeopathy is recognized and practiced throughout the world as both a standalone method of treatment and as a complement to conventional medical therapy. But the fundamental tenets of homeopathy still present a challenge to some in the orthodox medical community, who can neither wholly accept nor refute it. At the heart of homeopathic principle is the idea that living organisms are sustained by what is called the vital force. Homeopaths believe that the vital force is the primary operating system of the organism. As such, it provides a constant, life-preserving climate that enables the body to preserve its state of well-being by maintaining a healthy balance with its environment. That balance includes continuously compensating for physical, mental, and emotional stress to the organism. But homeopaths also believe that extreme or prolonged stress can overwhelm the body's vital force, and that during these periods when the vital force is weakened, disease can effectively attack the organism. A complete waning of the vital force would lead to death. Historically, conventional medicine has focused on the control of disease, assuming for the most part that individuals with the same diseases can be treated in the same way. In contrast, Homeopathy seeks to treat the individual, not the disease. Believing that each organism is unique, the homeopath seeks to determine the root cause of the illness that has weakened the individual. Then, by administering a minute dose of a specially prepared substance, capable of producing in the healthy the same characteristic symptoms as those presented by the sick individual, the homeopath seeks to stimulate the patient's vitality and, in turn, restore the body to a natural state of health.
You could not call it a magic cure. It's one approach to healthcare, and it's one that's very overlooked here in the United States. It can't do everything. It's not everything for everybody. But what I found is that people do really well if they think of homeopathy first instead of last. If they go to homeopathy to try to get a curative response and get well first, and then fall back on conventional medicines if they absolutely need to, that keeps their immune system and their natural recuperative abilities more intact.
Today, researchers work to unravel the mystery of potentization and to prove the efficacy of modern homeopathic medicines that contain only trace elements of their base ingredients.